Okay, back to concentration. So now that we've got this list of cards and we can shuffle them, let's add some variables that track the cards that have been clicked on. So we'll need two card box objects, and we'll call them card 1, and we'll set that to null, and let's make another card box called card 2 and set that to null as well. So these will be the two cards that were clicked on. Now what we're going to need is an event handler to respond to click events on these cards. So let's go down to the timer tick function. Why the timer tick function? Because right here you can see the signature for an event handler. So what we want to do is copy this signature here and make a new function called private void. Well, it doesn't have to be private, but let's call it click card. So this is what's going to get called when a card is clicked on. And now it kind of becomes obvious, like, why do we have this object sender thing? Normally, these functions are in the object that is responding to the event, or that triggered the event, but in this case we're not, right? The picture or the card box is going to get clicked on, but the form is going to handle it. So the object that's generating the event and the object that are responding to the event are not actually the same. So so that's what, then you kind of see the advantage of this. So what we really want to do is wire this up to all of our card boxes. Now I could pop over to the form designer, highlight all of these guys, and then come down into the lightning bolt here and assign the click handler to card click for each of them. That's kind of like, I mean, you could do that, but here's kind of like a slicker way to do it. Let's pop back up to that thing right here where we're figuring out if this thing is a card box, add it to the list. Right before we drop it into the list, let's set the click event handler to be card click. Or was it click card? Click card. Boom. And then actually we have to say plus equals. So this click event handler, it's one of those delegates that we talked about. It's actually a list of function pointers to call when an event is triggered. So we're going to add the click card function to the list of functions that this thing is going to call when a click event is triggered. So there it is. We've added this now as an event handler to every card box. All right. So let's get into the click card function, because this is where the game logic really happens. What we want to do is check, okay, if somebody clicks on a card, we have to say, has any card been clicked on yet? And if they haven't, okay, cool, this is the first card. So if the card 1 is null, that means they haven't picked a card yet. So let's say card 1 equals the sender, the card box that triggered the event. Now, card 1 is a card box type, and sender is it's right here. It's being passed in as an object, but we know it's a card box. So let's say as card box. We'll use that C# style casting mechanism again. And then let's tell card 1 to flip over. So we'll say show card. Now, all right. So let's just run that and see if it works. So we should be able to flip over one card, and that's it. Why is it doing this? I don't know. Great. So that worked. Now I can't click on any second cards because now card 1 has already been assigned and it's not null anymore. Well, let's just expand that. Else if card 2 is null, now they must be clicking on the second card. So we'll say card 2 and then show that card. Now we should be able to click on card 2. We can click on 2 cards, but not 3 cards. All right. So what do we want to do? Once we flip this guy over, now we want to start the timer. And when the timer goes off, we want to check, do the cards match? Do cards So down here, let's start our timer. We'll say timer1.start. And when the timer goes off, the first thing we want to do is stop the timer from ticking, because we don't want it to tick again. If we do, we'll start getting null pointer exceptions. Now how do we test if the cards match? Well, it's going to be if the card type of card 1 matches the card type of card 2. Then they match. Now in that case, we want to remove them from the game. Otherwise, they didn't match. So let's just flip them back over. So we'll say, if they match, we want to remove them. So card 1 dot, we'll say remove card, right? We'll get rid of that from the game. Card 2, we'll remove it from the game. We'll hide it. It'll be invisible now. And then otherwise, we just want to flip them back over. So we'll just say hide the card. Now in either case, card 1 and card 2 aren't selected anymore. So let's set them both back to null. And, well, interesting. Okay, so that would probably work. Stop the timer. Remove card and hide card. Okay, let's try it. Ooh, it's working. Why did I do that? Oh, very nice. Why did I do? You know, if you want to find out how bad your memory is, this is a great game. I thought there was a sword somewhere else. No, there's the sword. Okay, so sword. All right, so that bit works. Now, eventually, we'll be able to get this so, you know, all the cards will be gone, and we'll need some way to reset the game. So let's work on that. And then also, this is going to be so much better if we put some sound effects into it. And was that a knight? There's a knight. Okay. So let's add some sound effects to get the cards flipping over. So to add sounds, we want to use using system.media, and we've done this before, system.media. And then let's, in our class, let's add a sound player for that. Sound player, flip sound equals use sound player, and then let's give it the sound clip to play, properties dot resources dot flip sound dot card flip. There it is, card flip. That's our sound effect. And then down here, when we flip on a card, let's play that sound effect. So do we want to play it? Yeah, I guess we could have done this in the show card. We could have put this in the card class too. So let's say flip sound dot play, and flip sound dot play. Now there's one little bug hiding in here. You know, let's see if we can find it. Click. I clicked on the same card twice. And of course it matches, because the card type of card 1 is equal to the card type of card 2. How do we fix that? Well, what we can do is say, we can test to see if those two objects are identical. We can basically compare the references, compare the pointers to those objects. We can say if the two card references are actually equal, just return. Don't do anything. They're trying to cheat. No, you know what? We actually want to... that's interesting. I don't think we want to assign card 2, though. I think we would probably want to do it here. We probably want to say if the card 2 is equal to this, if the sender is equal to card 1, then just bail out. And to test that that's working, I'm going to hit F9 and I'm going to put a breakpoint on that line. Let's try it again. So click, click. Okay, so we hit that. So the sender was equal to card 1, so we're going to bail out. We're not going to set card 2. So we're not going to start the timer. And there we flipped him back over. Cool, it works. Now the only thing we've got here left to do is implement our menu options. So for the exit, that's easy. That's just application.exit. And then for the new game, file new game. Well, what does that mean? We want to make all the cards visible, and we want to shuffle them again. So let's use a for each loop. To make them all visible again. C.visible equals true. And let's, like, I don't know, let's hide them all. And let's shuffle them. Shuffle the cards. And then let's also, there's also a chance that the timer was running and maybe one card was selected. So let's just make sure that, let's just stop the timer. It's timer1.stop. And then let's also set card 1 back to null. And card 2 back to null. And that should work. So let's just test out that works. So make all the controls visible, hide them, shuffle them. Ooh, got it on the first try. Okay, now let me just get one more pair here. Where's our dynamite? Oh, nuts. Oh, all right, yay. So if I go to File, New Game, our cards are back. There's and see, now they're all shuffled again. So File, New Game. All right, so it's working. Neat. There you go. Concentration. Using visual inheritance. So we created our own control by inheriting a picture box. We were able to build our game visually, and that greatly simplified this game. If you tried to build this game without using visual inheritance, it gets real ugly real fast. So so there we go. We also learned how to do dynamic or type checking at runtime using is and as. So I don't know. It's a good exercise in inheritance, particularly visual inheritance. I don't know. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy flipping your cards over.